And what realizations did you have on the LSD when you were out there?
I left Ulaanbaatar, and I remember, like, this was like the least intense expedition adventure I've ever had, but it's the most memorable and most impactful. And I don't think anything will surpass it in that. I remember driving out of UB, where 2/3 of the population of Mongolia lives. It's the least densely populated country on Earth, and no one could have warned me for how it would be once I left the capital there. It's seasonal roads that are only there because enough people are passing on it and wearing out the grass so you could see the dirt lines. There are only, I think, 5 paved roads or however many provinces there are that go to the capital of each province from UB, and that's it. So it's on paved road, then I'm on dirt roads, and I'm on dirt roads for 3 weeks. And I'll never forget, I was playing this song called Outro by M83, just not knowing what's about to happen for the next, however long. I camped that night. It was terrifying. I'm in the pitch black. I mean, the stars were amazing, but I'm like, what am I actually doing here? Great. I hop back in my car. I have a rough sense of the areas I want to see. I looked up ahead of time, like what natural areas are worth seeing, and it was kind of following this route that I made up. The next day I'm driving, I decide to take a little bit of the LSD, and started to hit me. So I'm at this gas station with this like older Mongolian woman who can speak English, and while it's starting to hit me, I'm trying to communicate with her like I need some gas. I buy gas, and I'm like, well, I shouldn't drive anymore. So I got to this place deep out in the Gobi Desert. I pitched my tent. Again, I think you know me, so you know that I'm very binary a lot of the time. So I was like, well, if I have 8 tabs in total, I was like, I'll just take the rest. So I put 7 more tabs on my tongue and just sat there in my lawn chair and had pitched my tent, which was difficult because I really started feeling it. And it was a full moon. There was probably no one within 2 hours driving of where I was. I'll never be able to put it in words, but it was transformative. I don't think you will ever achieve psychedelics or any substance or any activity. These are never going to a guaranteed means of finding answers.
So what did you find?
It was funny. I was listening to music that I'd always loved, songs that I'd always loved, and it struck me then that there was so much more depth and meaning in those songs than I'd ever. I was just very quickly entering this very different state of reality, and I got a little overwhelmed. And the tent had a door on either side that were zipped. So I remember the stars were out. It was incredible. I have a picture on my Instagram of long exposure of that night, and I had my car parked, I had my tent set in my little chair. That was it. And I remember unzipping the door on the side of the tent that was closest to me, feeling overwhelmed. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go lay down. And I took my AirPods out. It was too much, and I put my head down I didn't have a pillow, so I put my head down on the bottom of the tent. My sleeping bag didn't really have a built-in pillow, and I thought I was imagining something that I later realized actually was real and existed, but it was this gnawing sound, like this chomping, this biting that was getting progressively louder and louder, that it sounded like it was coming from...
I just want to interrupt for 2 seconds and thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. If you can like and subscribe and share with anyone you think would love it, that would mean the world to me. Let's get back to the show.
Deep within the earth, and it was one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had. I later found out that it was this species of insect that would spend the day underground and then come up at night when it was cooler to eat the grass and the detritus and everything. And then all of a sudden, this was probably, imagine thousands, tens of thousands of insects in this meat-eat area, this synchronized gnawing sound, and it was like, what is going on? I couldn't even really formulate thoughts.
I remember you told me about this, yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it stopped. Silence. Something within me said, open the other door of the tent. And I opened the other door, and it was this full moon that was the biggest moon I've ever seen, bright orange. It was
bigger than Cape Town?
Yeah, it was like this metaphorical, like, just discovery of peace. And so many thoughts that were like chaotically swarming around my head, like worries. And I think a very hard thing to do in life is to stop thinking too deeply about things, because like there are so many questions you'll have about why did X happen, or how should I interpret this? Like,
yeah. For
example, there were a lot of questions around, why did the relationship end? Like, what am I doing with my life? You'll never have the full answer, and you shouldn't. Not having that answer is what's going to drive you to continue on. But all of that, when I opened that other side of the tent, stopped totally. And it was like my brain was clear. And again, I can't put it in the words, but I emerged from that tent standing up. And no, I'm not going to say that taking LSD or taking psychedelic is going to bring you this, but it is a tool. And if you feel this intuitional call to do it, which I did, otherwise I wouldn't have, it was amazing. And all of that is a result of that time in Mongolia. I drove around for another couple of weeks talking to people, enjoying, and then flew home and knew what I wanted to do, which was I came home, I spent some time with my family.
It's very unique and brave to take that dose solo in an environment where you're not used to?
Especially someone who's never taken...
Where does that bravery come from? Where does that strive, that intention to, where does that need come from?
Maybe I'm lucky. My grandfather, again, to go back to some of the stuff he shared with me over the years, I remember him sending me this National Geographic article years back from this experience about this single gene in the human genome that I think they call the explorer's gene or something. And if it's expressed, they believe that actually the first Homo sapiens to leave the continent of Africa and go venture into Asia and Europe, it was because of the expression of this gene that causes people to want to go see what's over that hilltop, what's over that mountain. Let's go see what's over there. And it was evolutionarily advantageous because if people did not have that genetic push to go and expand out, we would have never found the resources that allowed us to invent basically almost all of what exists today. We would have never inhabited Europe and Asia. We would have never sailed across the Atlantic. We would never be going to Mars. And there was this class called the Philosophy of Biology. And my friend said, "Oh, that's an easy one. I'll take it with you." So we took it. And little did I know that class with this crazy professor who, like, I really wound up loving. She was amazing. This was one of the books that we read in that class, and that also fundamentally changed how I look at life. Like, everything we do is just a product of these different combinations of expressed genes, and like some overpower others, and we can embrace some and utilize those, and it explains so much about human nature. I have felt anxiety, extreme anxiety, many times in my life earlier on, but as soon as I stopped suppressing those feelings and just embracing them, I've been anxiety free.
If you love this video, make sure to click these links right here to check out Tyler's incredible journey at SpaceX, hear how he achieved 8 Guinness World Records conquering the Arctic Ocean, embarked on a solo trip to Mongolia while megadosing on LSD, and shares his wisdom on managing anxiety. Plus, don't miss his insights on the future of Starlink. Click these links right here to dive into Tyler's remarkable experiences. Thanks so much for watching.